Hi folks, yes, I did cut off my ponytail and all my hair. I got so tired one day of all this oppressive heat in Los Angeles, and I was tired of throwing water on the top of my head and having to deal with my hair. So I just took a pair of scissors and cut everything off. So, it grows back out though. So who knows, I may end up with a ponytail yet again. But I do want to take a minute to thank some folks who have donated to the GoFundMe website, and just to thank them for their donations, which are always very helpful. And so I'll take a minute here to tell you who donated and some of the comments they may have made, and to thank them personally for the funds that they've made available to the Dinosaur Soft Cells research project. And the work is ongoing, and I'm going to show you some things here in a second also. So here we go, and I'm going to read these off of my tablet, so if you'll indulge me here a little bit. Back at the end of March, Scott Russell donated $100. Thank you so much, Scott, and gave this advice. He said, keep up the good work. Well, thank you, Scott. Definitely trying to do that as funds allow and as opportunity allows. I am working diligently to get one of my papers out of review and back into acceptance. The paper was accepted in a major journal, but requires significant review, and so I've had to take several months to actually thin section the bones, to learn the bone histology, and I'll be talking more about that in the future. But it costs money, it takes time, I have to get off the freeways in order to do this kind of work, so thank you for your help. Then Don Heeland, back in, let's see, when was this? See, I'm so far behind the 8 ball. This was back in early April. Dr. Heelan donated $25. Thank you so much for your donation. And he says, may God bless your work. Dr. Heelan, I think he is. And my prayer is that he blesses the people who see this work, that they become emboldened to share their faith with others. Because here's the evidence, right? Here's the evidence that is needed, the smoking gun, that these dinosaurs cannot be millions of years old. They have these beautiful cells in them, which I'm showing over and over and over again. And so I hope that it emboldens folks to share their faith. And if you want to mix it up with the evolutionists, I say, vaya con Dios, and God bless you. I wish you success in that. I think their hearts are pretty hard. If they're willing to ignore this evidence, they're willing to ignore just about anything. And as I say to them many times, you're not my target audience. I'm after those souls who are now realizing that they've been lied to all these years. The millennials out there who are realizing they've been lied to about billions of years in the age of the earth. The earth is young, folks. It's young. These dinosaur cells prove that conclusively. We're finding fragments of DNA, and I'm going to search for more DNA on these cells that I'm working with. We found proteins, actin, tubulin, other, histones, some pretty amazing proteins. And so I'm after those folks who are downtrodden, who are discouraged, who know in the back of their minds that there's something wrong with deep time, and I hope that this wakes them up and helps them to realize, the earth is young. Jesus knew what he was talking about when he said that the male and female, Adam and Eve, were created at the beginning. Our parents created at the beginning of creation, and so it's all new. Here now, recently, this was, I think just yesterday or today, Michael Minich donated $100. Thank you, Michael. And he says, more folks need to know this. Glad I can help. Amen, Michael. You're a big help. And pray. And that's my request of everyone who really wants to help this project, who wants to see it move along. Pray. Pray for the project. Pray for me that I can get off these freeways. I'm working hard to do so. But yesterday, I drove a couple hundred miles around Santa Barbara and other places, just trying to earn the money to stay afloat and keep the lab running. but pray that I can get in the lab, stay in the lab. Pray that I can get these papers published because it's difficult. So thank you for your support. And now I want to show you something from the lab that I think will blow your mind and hopefully silence these critics who say that, well, your processing of these Triceratops horn bones, you're just causing the tissue to become soft after becoming a fossil. Come on. If something's fossilized, if it's permineralized, it's hard rock. No amount of water is going to change a hard rock fossil into soft, flexible tissues like you're seeing from my microscopes. And so check this out. I need to clarify and help people to understand the incredible significance of my discovery of the soft tissue in the Triceratops horn. This horn came out of the ground. As you know, it was cracked in many different places. It was full of plant roots and fungal bodies and all kinds of stuff. It was wet and muddy. And so I stored it in a refrigerator for some time, maybe 3-4 months after the discovery, and I've had pieces in the refrigerator since 2012. Here it is 2017. And the soft tissue that I found came out of the horn in large sheets that was unprocessed. I didn't process the horn. And to demonstrate that, I've done a little experiment here on a fresh piece of this Triceratops horn from the absolute center of the horn that I've had in a refrigerator for 5 years. And so let me show you the soft tissue that is still in this to this day. So what I have here is a baggie with a couple of pieces of Triceratops horn in it that was collected in Montana. This is unfixed, which means it wasn't stabilized. It has not been through any protocol whatsoever. In fact, if you look at this, it kind of just looks like a rock. But it's not rock, it's solid bone. Pieces of it are falling off. But I took one of these pieces out of this bag yesterday and I put it in a saline solution overnight, mostly water, but I just soaked it overnight, and I want to show you what happened as a result of doing that. So here now in this solution of very weak salt water is the piece of Triceratops horn that I soaked overnight. And remember, this was dry, bone dry, just like the piece you just saw. And then I pulled these apart with my hand, and you can see that, well, you know, I've torn it off now, but there's a whole sheet of this soft stuff in between these two pieces. I'll try to grab some of this with my tweezers. But when I first pulled these apart, it was one continuous sheet. You can see there's a soft piece of fibrillar bone. Here's another piece right here. And when I first pulled it apart, it was a whole sheet that went along here. And I think there's even some on this side. It's a little hard to tell in this light, but with the fine forceps, sometimes I'm able to grab the edge and pull it up. That one's just going to tear. But that's what you're looking at, is the soft fibrillar bone is attached to the hard bone because it's in the process of becoming bone, but it hasn't yet. It's not fully bone. I wish I had a better example here to show you. When I first did it, it was fabulous, and I said, we got to get this on film. but I tore at it a little bit too hard, and so I don't have anything very photogenic. But these are pieces of that soft fibrillar bone tissue on here, and but this is unprocessed. So this is the way it was sitting in the ground for as long as this bone was in there. And it hadn't decayed. Now it got muddy, it got covered in sediment and such. But I can't really see it with the bright lights pointing at my face. But you got the idea. You saw me peel off those couple of pieces there, and I think if I worked with this a little bit longer, I would have a nice sheet to peel off, much like the sheets that you've already seen me peel off and put up on my YouTube channel. Alright, so what I've done is I've taken this bone and I've worked on it for about 20 minutes, and here you see it really sped up. So this is actually a 20-minute process whereby I gently put my needle nose forceps down in here and separated away some of this soft fibrillar bone. And remember, inside of these sheets of soft bone are the bone osteocytes, the bone cells that you've seen me photograph. So I'm going to do this one more time so you can actually see what's going on. But I put my needle nose forceps in under here and separated this from the hard bone. What I'm separating away is soft bone. We call it soft fibrillar bone. And so there you have it, folks. This is the soft tissue that has been adhering to this bone in a refrigerator for over 5 years since I took it out of the ground in Montana, the Triceratops soft fibrillar bone. So I hope you enjoy seeing this firsthand. So there it is, folks, a piece of dry Triceratops horn sitting in a refrigerator for 5 years, and I take it out of a bag and I soak it in phosphate buffered saline overnight, and I just pull these pieces apart from one another, and this large sheet of flexible soft material just comes right off of there. Here's another piece. So why is this there? How can this be so stable over all that time? Here's another piece right here. So this is the incredible nature of this find. You can see this soft piece right here. Now, what I have found, are sheets of soft fibrillar bone that are much larger than any of the other soft materials that any of the other researchers have found. So the amount of soft tissue that we find, that I have found in this Triceratops horn, the amount of soft tissue alone is staggering. Here I keep pulling soft pieces off of here. So number one, that's the one important thing about our discovery, is that I found soft sheets of fibrillar bone that are much larger than any of the other soft tissues that have been found by other researchers. Yeah, this whole piece right here, that's just all soft tissue. And if I took my time and really worked at it, I could pull off large sheets of this. But the other thing that's very important with this discovery is that no processing was done to this bone at all. And a lot of creationists and other people are out there saying that I had to process this bone in order to find the soft sheets of tissue. That's simply not true. Here, again, this is a piece that's been in a refrigerator for 5 years, and it's still yielding large pieces of soft tissue. And by the way, these pieces of soft tissue in here are full of bone cells, the little osteocytes that you've seen me photograph so much. So that's number one. No processing was needed. Number two, the amount of soft material that I've found, far greater than what anybody else has found. And here's the third thing that I think is most important that we need to understand. When I saw this amount of soft tissue in this bone, I made the claim and the prediction that soft tissue in dinosaur remains in the fossil record is the norm and not the exception. And I think we're seeing that borne out every day, every week, every month as new discoveries are being made. So there it is, folks. That's what I wanted to show you that's shocking about pieces of dry bone that I've had in a refrigerator for 7 years, or for 5 years, and you put them right into water, basically salt water, and these soft sheets come away nice and loose. An amazing find. Thanks for watching.